Hello everybody, Brad Johnson here, and welcome to another episode of Spirit Drive, where in this episode I'm going to be talking about withdrawing from lack. Now I just came back from a nice walk in the park. While I was walking through the park, I was getting this download from Spirit talking about lack in that way. Once I was receiving a lot of this information from Spirit, and I was just kind of going around a loop, an owl actually came and flew near this bridge, and this perched on a tree branch. And I knew when I saw the owl, I was, okay, I gotta share this. This is important. Owl's a messenger, and so it's important to share this message relating to the discussion of withdrawing from lack. So, whenever we're looking at that which is unnatural, what is it that we're talking about? What is the most unnatural thing? Is it the emotion of anger? Is it the emotion of fear? Is it apprehension? Is it jealousy? Is it shame? Is it pride? Is it anything that we can basically put an emotional tag onto? Well, no. Whenever we look at emotions, they are again acting as messengers. They are the limbs of the unnatural beast, we could say. What is truly the heart of the unnatural beast is that of lack. So as I've talked about, that we have emotions, that we have traumas, and then we have lack. So lack is the heart of the unnatural beast. And when we are looking at this unnatural beast, it is very, very seductive, because basically it firstly has to ensnare you. It has to come as you could say, a wolf in sheep's clothing. It will disguise itself as something that says, hey, I'll take care of this for you. I'll do this for you. I'm going to work with all of this. You don't have to do anything. You just let me in, and I'll take care of anything that you require. And so we get snared in by the unnatural beast. It is a very ugly thing. It is a very unnatural thing. It is a very disgusting thing. It's like looking at a tree that has been rotten to the core, that is just ugly as soon as you see it. It smells bad, has the worst foul odors that you could ever smell. This represents the nature of lack itself. And why are we so addicted to it? Again, we look at all of these modern systems on our planet, and we see money systems, we see business systems, we see our educational systems, we see how we use fossil fuels, how we pollute the air, how everything that represents these common dying systems has been something that we have silently put our obedience into and using it on a daily basis. So, in order for us to truly transcend that degree of lack, we have to learn to let it go. We have to learn to withdraw. And again, there's been a lot of discussions on my channel pertaining to the nature of lack, but there's always going to be more and more perspectives that are going to come through to help really cement this idea about how truly simple it is to withdraw from lack. So again, we can look at the analogy of an ugly tree. We can look at the analogy of an ugly beast, right, where the aspect of its emotions are just its limbs, or its tentacles in that way, and that its organs represent that of trauma, and that the heart of the beast is indeed that of the lack. So the lack itself is the most horrendous. The lack itself is the most horrifying. The lack itself is the most unnatural, as it uses the darkness to conceal everything. It's like cockroaches in the dark. As soon as you turn on the light, they scramble and they find the shadows to stay in, to try and remain undetected. So in order for us to finally withdraw from lack, we have to realize that everything that we do that is disharmonious to ourselves is indeed the clue to helping us release it and move away from it entirely. Now again, the darkness itself is not a horrifying thing. It's not a bad thing. But it is used to conceal. It is used to hide hideous agendas. It is used to bury all of these horrendous, despicable, disastrous things that we involve ourselves with. And if we continue to feed on to that lack, it's not going to save you, right? Lack is not going to defeat lack, right? Hatred is not going to defeat hatred. Fear is not going to defeat fear. We all hear this so many times. So yeah, it's a good discussion, but, well, Brad, you don't know what this person did to me, right? It's all their fault. It's their fault. They did this to me. And as long as I know that it's their fault, not mine, I can get out of this, right? No. Because the very lack that you're running from is actually caused by you pointing a finger at that person. So by you pointing a finger, by you playing a blame game, by you feeling that you're a victim, by you feeling abused, by you feeling that you have to control everything, by you being dependent upon others without having any form of independency of yourself, by you being abandoned, right? We look at abandonment, rejection, abuse, and we look at all the heavy emotions that go along with them. These are the very catalysts that are the heart of the unnatural beast, known as lack. So it's about the idea of saying, I'm going to drop doing this. I'm going to drop the finger pointing. I'm going to drop the fighting, the defensiveness that I have to hide behind a shield. I got to protect myself. One of the questions has been, well, if we're this loving, how do we defend ourselves? How do we put on our guard if someone like that approaches us and wants to fight with us? You putting up your guard, again, is a catalyst of lack, because you feel you have to defend your insecurities. Now, we look at the other way. We look at the idea of withdrawing from lack, and we focus our perspective relating to love. Love is like the sun. It is the sun's rays of light that is shining through the forest as you walk. You see these beautiful rays of light, and it feels like paradise. And you walk through the forest, getting closer and closer right to the edge, until you're fully exposed to the sun, and now it shines upon you. And that's the nature of love. We're in a forest that may seem creepy, that may feel it has a lot of dilapidation to it. A lot of the trees are dying, are rotting away, and this represents the lack. But now the sun starts to shine. You feel all these rays of sunshine. You know you reach the edge of the forest. You come out of the forest, and now the sunshine shines upon you. And from that point forward, you're always going to be in the sun. Well, that's the analogy. That's a parable that one could look at relating to how one withdraws from lack and comes into love. So in order for us to truly withdraw from lack, we have to make a choice. And not only do we have to make this choice, we have to stand by this choice. We have to commit to this choice. We have to be very serious about this and saying that if I truly want to create a world where love reigns supreme, where I'm happy, I feel youthful, I'm transforming myself every single day, I focus on what serves, I'm helping other people. If I want to really get into that type of life, I have to make a promise. And that promise is that I will support myself every single minute of every single day with that supports love. And that's the antidote. The antidote to everything is love. Right? And love is spirit. Compassion is spirit. Gracefulness is spirit. Humility is spirit. But spirit is not the totality of these labels. Spirit is far beyond any of these things. We may put tags on spirit, and there are certain elements that represent spirit, but spirit is even far beyond that. It is that which we cannot even conceive. Jesus would state that spirit is like the wind. You feel the wind blowing upon you, but you do not know where it comes from or where it is going, right? And that's the same thing when we align to spirit. We don't know where spirit is going to take us, but if we trust in spirit, we will always be where we need to be. We will always be experiencing what we need to experience. We will take actions based upon what we need to act with, that is of the spirit. So, it is about being able to say farewell, goodbye, see you later, as it relates to lack. So you have to look at everything whenever there is a disharmony, whenever there is a discomfort, whenever there is a doubt, whenever there is a hesitation, whenever there is a frustration. You got to look into it deeply. You got to find out what this is, right? It's not about having to go into the depth of the story of it. You just want to say, oh, this is here because I had judgment from my father. I had judgment upon my mother. I had judgment from my siblings about this, and I've been holding on to it for so long. I don't need to go into the fine, grainy details of the story, but now I understand the catalyst of it. And now I can let it go. Now I can relinquish it. I no longer give it power. It's like me snuffing out a candle, right? There's a candle of unnatural light, and I snuff it out. And that's all I do. See all these candles on the black wax, and they're of black light in this form of analogy. And you are going up to them, and it says right on the candle, judgment from my dad, judgment from my sister, abandonment from my mother, right? And it says what's on these candles. Snuff them out. That's all you're doing. You are extinguishing those candles, and as you extinguish them, you are moving further and further into love. So in order for you to truly extinguish those candles themselves, you need to be touched by love. Love needs to be the catalyst that will give you the appropriate actions through spirit for you to snuff out all those candles. And this is the withdrawing from lack. And this is what we do. This is how it is done. It is not done any other way. Brad, can I just press a button? No. Can I just fight fire with fire? No. Fear is not going to extinguish fear. Lack is not going to extinguish lack. It is about knowing what love is by being love in the grandest way that you can. This is the path that I walk. This is the path that I have chosen. And getting to know more about myself each and every single day, because lack is no longer a part of my life, and love is everything. Spirit is everything. The Father, the Mother God is everything. So if you want to transcend the aspect of lack in all forms, you need to, again, withdraw from it. Surrender to yourself. Look at what this represents. Turn your head. See that that love is over there. Just like, again, the sun rays pouring into the forest, and follow it. And charge yourself up with all this love. That's where the BCR technique comes in. That's where the TC technique comes in. As long as you make that promise, that choice, and saying, I'm going to follow love from now on. I'm going to change my life dramatically, because everything that I've been doing relating to lack is not living. It's not even who I am. There is nothing that I can see within myself that is of lack, because lack is showing me the unnaturalness of myself. It's showing me a disease. It's showing me a virus. It's showing me something that is very, very dirty, very nasty, very disgusting, very ugly. I'm not anything like that. I want to wash this all away. I want to snuff out those candles and come to love. Charge yourself up with love. Make love your religion. Every single minute, you're just giving yourself love. You build that love up, you send it out to others. They feel it. And nothing negative can even touch you when you're in so much love energy. And that love energy is radiating throughout you. Anybody that has any particular forms of ill thoughts or ill actions can't do anything. That love energy is so strong, it strips the tar, the unnaturalness, out of that person almost instantly. That person can't even really open their mouth to say anything. The love has stripped it all away. And that's what you want to do. Charge yourself up until you are this raging inferno of love. And anything that represents lack can't even touch it. Why? Because love will always be stronger than lack, because it is natural. So thank you very much for tuning into this episode of Spirit Drive, and I'll speak to you again in another perspective of the now. Take care. Thank you very much for checking out my channel. Below you'll see my links to social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also go to healingcodecards.com, pick up your own Healing Code Cards body deck, and of course check out my website at newearthteachings.com. Thank you once again, and I'll see you in the next video.